I love you, sweetheart. We'll do it when we come back, yeah? Don't worry. I'll be a bit busy, so just don't mind if I'm not able to call you, because I'm going into the really insides of Punjab. I'm going to meet these people who live really inside some really interior parts of the place. So just don't get worried about me that I'm not picking up your calls.
Meshampur, please welcome Akshay Singh. I'm sure many of you all must be wondering, what did you all just see? Was it a documentary? Was it a mockumentary? Was it a fictional film? What exactly was it? So we'll talk about the film and a little bit more. I'm not sure, can you all hear me clearly? Yeah, there's so much of echo here. Anyway, how best would you describe it, Akshay?
I think it's an anti-film where we were trying to subvert sort of everything. So we tried to use all forms of film, and in the process of using all forms of film, because it's a film about a filmmaker and etc., we wanted to subvert the entire idea of a film also. So I don't know, I'm seeing it after 1 year now, and it's a hard watch, I think. I'm surprised so many people are still left, because a lot of people walk out. But for me, it's an anti-film, basically.
It pushes the form, in many ways, because as you just said, and as we were discussing, that we are normally used to seeing a certain kind of film, and there's a definition of a film, that either it's this, or it's this, or it's this, whereas this one blurs the lines of everything, and as you said, it's a film within a film. But just to rewind back, this was not the idea of how it was made, right? When you all started making it, if I'm not wrong, you wanted to make it as a fictional film on Chamkila.
That was a much larger project, which is a period-based project. In fact, the script that he's holding...
The Lal Pari one.
Lal Pari. So, but that involved several crores and stuff. So in fact, we were extremely frustrated because we couldn't mount that project. And we had a vast amount of research and our own relationships with people who were involved with Chamkila. And we just piled on that anger and frustration onto this thing. But that was the fiction film that we wanted to make, and this was a more experimental, just go and do something.
So was the intention to make a film like this right from the beginning, or was it like it progressed as you all were making it?
We did script it out, so everything is sort of scripted. There was improvisation on set, but I mean, obviously what we've come with, because we didn't know where we're going to use archive, and we knew that we have to mesh it together somehow. Most people on set, Nivi is also here, she is the actress on the film, and most people on set didn't know how we were going to cut it, so they were pretty disillusioned with the process. But we knew that we had to get a certain frenzy and a certain mania, and that tone we knew, basically. Otherwise, we didn't know what will it emerge in the edit. But tonally, I think we knew where we wanted to get to.
So would you say that as a writer, a lot of this film came out on the editing table than actually properly scripting it, or was it more on the set? I mean, in 3 phases. One is pre-planning. How do you write a film like this? 2 is, do you write it while it's happening, as it's happening? And 3 is, did it come out together on the editing table? Which was the larger content of these 3?
I think the largest where it came about was in the research. Like you can see, because it involves there were time during casting where Kabir and me both were thinking that the people associated with Chamkila, which is Sonia ji and Tikki and Lal, should we cast them? And we felt that the experiences that we had had with them, though actors couldn't replicate those things basically, and we felt that we have to write for them, rather than for an actor. And then obviously when we saw what we were getting from them, we were like, obviously we couldn't have cast for them. Going back to your question, I think it was sort of like all of them who were involved. Editing is a second form of writing also. So yeah, I mean, I can't put one thing down, but it was a process, I think.
Right. And just for those who probably don't know the background of this story and are wondering how much of it is true or not true, if you all have read about the film, probably you all know. If you all have not read about the film, then I'm sure you all must be wondering what is it. So this is a true story of the 80s where Chamkila was shot dead, and that still remains a mystery till date. So what factor was it that that interested you all in this film in the first place? Was it his death? Was it his popularity?
I think initially what led us, in fact we ran from Goa only. Like we had been talking about him since 10 years now, since we were in college, 14, 15 years. But
and while you do that, just tell us also a little bit more about Chamkila for those who
so
are not very
Chamkila
well
and
aware.
Amarjot were, Chamkila himself, he was a Dalit musician in the folk scene in Punjab, and he rose very rapidly. And the folk music scene in Punjab is a very cutthroat scene where they become stars basically. So he had a meteoric type rise which dislodged a lot of established players there, causing a lot of friction. And he was regarded as a mercurial kind of a singer where he would often drink before his performances and be, sometimes he wouldn't emerge only and he would just be drinking backstage. But his fame just continued to rise like crazy, especially because he the villagers really connected with him. Parallel to this, what was going on was the Khalistan separatist movement. And the Khalistan movement was agrarian and rural sort of based, which was clashing with Chamkila's popularity. And also what Chamkila used to sing were double meaning songs, were lewd songs, what they would call vulgar songs. So the Khalistan, being a puritanical organization or a cause, they did not appreciate his stuff basically. So they warned him, they threatened him. But he was a crazy fellow basically. He was just like, fuck it, I'm gonna go, you wanna kill me, I'm gonna perform. And there used to be stages in the villages, like anyone can come and shoot him. But he kept doing that. Eventually, he was shot on stage, him and Amarjot, very brutally. So, I mean, there were a lot of these high points which we felt like, wow. I mean, we were a bit naive also that time. This was 2014, I think. And what an artist can endure and for his art, etc. So we wanted to confront those questions. And also just see what is left behind from, we're going back after 25 years. So what are the memories sort of left behind? And yeah, because he's still very popular. Even now, if you go into villages and trucks, in fact, if you see a Punjabi trucker going through Goa, he'll have Chamkila blaring through his speakers, So very popular like that. So yeah, we wanted to play with memory and conflict. And it's all coming together in folk music, which is such a Punjab thing, Yeah, so something of that sort.
And how easy, how difficult, or what are the challenges of making a film in a form which someone has not done before. You know, you're kind of breaking new ground in the way you've told this story. So how much of self-belief is there, because your time is involved, your money is involved, you know, there are so many factors involved. So what is it that kept you all going to make a film like this, which no one has done before?
I think there was massive self-doubt, as you can see. Even our own gurus, they said, why are you doing this? Like, this is going to be your first film, you know, and you don't make a first film like this. Obviously our peers also were doubtful, what are you doing? In fact, the protagonist of the film, he's a filmmaker himself. So he was also like, this is not going to work in any way. I think both Kabir and me, we felt something during the shoot. And we felt that there is a certain bit of madness which is happening. And should we try and control the mania, or should we try and let it like flourish more? And there are past references for films like this. I mean, someone going around with the camera.
I think on Bitter Lake comes to mind.
Bitter Lake, we were tripping on Bitter Lake quite a bit before this, just about the essence of B-roll. I think both Kabir and me, we sort of shared a feeling that what we're doing is not pointless. There is something in there which, when it comes together, and of course, like there was Navjot who believed in us also. I think there's a certain crowd in Bombay, in Warsaw, which is a more avant-garde type crowd. So they really started to, go nuts over little things about the film. So we felt there's something there, and we should just try and finish it, which also took a long time. It took 4 years. But yeah, just a little bit of, I think, belief in each other. If you don't have a second person, I think someone told us in Bombay that like, if there's just one person doing it, then you'll be considered like a nutcase. But if two people share it, then it's cool, Then you have something, I think.
Right. There were many interesting elements in the film. So one of them was the mythical dhol thing. So where did that idea come about?
That during our research only, when we took Lal there, and he had lost, basically during his storytelling of that assassination, he said that he threw his dholak away and ran. So that particular story is very popular amongst Chamkila's fans, where this one guy, he survived. So we thought that the dholak will be, and his fans are everywhere. His fans are in Canada, in England, in Australia. So we felt that, and he's extremely poor, Lal, right now. So we felt that if we found this dholak, we could auction it, and the money can go to Lal. But it was a fictional thing because he apparently had already tried to find it, and no one in the villages around it, like it had got stuck in someone's harvester during the next harvest, but no one in the village wanted to be associated with the people the Khalistanis had just killed, So it was a futile search for him, and we thought we should go on that search in the film also. So yeah, we just went on that.
All right, I've been told that time is up. Our next session is coming up. I'm sure if you all have any questions, Akshay will be around. We can probably have a chat outside over a cup of chai. So thank you very much, and hope to see many more movies like this in the future. Thank you.